Welcome back to PJ Chen Design. This is PJ. Today, I would like to show you how to use the Rhino 3D software to build this teardrop pendant. We're going to talk about how to creating the surface look like a forged structure and also the bead setting for this design. Are you ready? Let's get started. There are a few things I would like to talk about in this demonstration. Mainly is for this structure. It looks simple, but it may take a while for you to tweak it until you get the shape that you want, right? And then we're going to talk about the bead setting and also this stone setting. For the prong, I already talked about in other videos, so we're going to ignore that, but just focus on those parts. All right, that's starting from the scratch. So we're gonna starting with the rectangle command, gonna snapping into the 0. I wanna have a golden ratio so it will look nicer. So one side I wanted to have 10. The other side I wanted to have 16.18, and we're gonna have this as a structure. All right, so let's go ahead to moving this one with the align centers command and type it 0, so that will be right in the center. Okay, now let's go ahead to draw the pear shape. I need to draw an arc first, and within the arc tool you have the one that's called tangent radius. So I know I can tangent to this edges right here. I'm going to snapping in somewhere right here, and I'm also going to snapping to the other side, and then the radius here I'm going to type it 5 because one of the length is 10th that we set it up there, so I can have a perfect circle over there, right? With this circle I'm going to bring up this one point. I'm using the move command from here to the middle of the edge right there. All right, so we can have this pear shape. Now if you feel like this pear shape is kind of too pointed, you can kind of moving those points up to make them a little bit rounder. So that's how we get this this shape. We no longer need that box because that's just for the reference. Okay, so this is the shape that we have, and I'm going to use the offset command, and we're gonna offset it both inside and outside for 1 millimeter, so I can set the 2 millimeter stone, right? And it's up to you, like how wide that you want it to have, depends on what is the size of a stone that you want it to get. All right, so I want to get 1 millimeter, and I want to get on both sides, and then that's what I get there. All right, so with this curve, the middle one is going to use for the stone. I'm going to temporarily to hide it, and this is the structure we're going to use. All right, let's use it exploded, and then we're gonna explode them into a different section. So I'm going to select those, but the buttons still connect together, so I want it to be half. So I'm going to using the split command, and we're gonna split with the point and make sure the quadrant is snapping, so I can split this in half right in the middle. All right, the same thing we're gonna using a split with the point and snapping into the quadrant. So everything on the left side now, then we can join them together into one curve. Right, so that become one single curve, that is another. We're gonna do the same thing on the side and to join them together. All right, so now with this, even though this has become one curve, I personally like them to be rebuilt. So let's go ahead to select all of them, and we want to use the rebuild command, and we want to rebuild them into a lot more point, like 12 point. All right, and let's click OK. All right, so now every one of them is become like a truly one single curve. All right, so now what we wanted to have is we need to decide how much taper that we wanted to opening on the top. With this one, I'm gonna coming into the transform tool, and then you have this one's called bend. Using the bend command, I'm going to come into the right view, snapping on the bottom and the top, and I want to move it up there for roughly about like 3 millimeter there. Okay, the same thing I'm going to do is to moving this one up like the same, like roughly about 3 millimeter. Right, if that were for you, that would be fine. The outside one is completely connected, but this one we need to be really careful because it wasn't connected because we are using the bottom one as a center to bend, right? So I simply just going to move in this one back, or we can just mirror it if we want to. And I turn the rail into the red color is easier for you to see. Now, as we looking at the front right here, well, it's like a matching on the top. In fact, we need to get it a little bit longer so that way we can hiding a pipe in the back for the chin. So I simply just going to extend it. Let's go ahead to use the curve tool, and in the curve tool you have the extended curve, and we want to extend it from here, and we don't need too long, we just needed to have 1 millimeter extra. So we're gonna do the same thing for all 4 of them, so extend it 1 millimeter extra, so then we have a little bit overlapping. Now let's coming into the rectangle tool. You have this tool, you have the ones called rectangle 3-point. So you want to snapping into this endpoint to the endpoint, and that's moving our rectangle into the right view, so we'll have something like this. Okay, and I'm also going to do the same thing right here. You can change the width if you want to later on, but we just need to set it up the rectangle. And the third one, we want to go from here to here, and we're just moving out something like this. All right, so now this is what we have. Let's take a look on what we can create in the surface width. We're gonna use the sweep to rail, and I'm going to do the rail 1, rail 2, cross section 1, 2, and 3, and we are going to record a history. All right, so make sure everybody's aligned, and the way to know if they are aligned, I like them to align to the interior instead of exterior. All right, so then we'll get something like this. Don't forget to record a history, and we can click OK. All right, so this is if you don't have any turning. This is what it's going to look like. And for things I wanted to make it turn, there are 2 ways to do it. First, since we are recording the history, and then so you can turn it in this way, you know, by changing the shape that you have over there. So that's one way to do it. The other way, let's go back, and that's using a sweep one more time. We want to coming over with the sweep to rail. We got rail 1, rail 2, cross section 1, 2, and 3. And with this one, ideally we want everybody to align in the right place, right? What if I wanted this one, the first one, go back with 1 step, which is the 90-degree to the second cross section, and this is what we are going to get, right? So it got a turn right here and turn around to be flat. So let me record a history one more time and click OK, because we might need to adjust, right? So by looking at this, if you feel like the top is way too thick, you can do 1D scale, and then you can snapping from this point to this point, and we're gonna moving back. If you feel like that's too thick, we can still adjust it. Now if you feel like this curve, it don't want to turn so much there, we can click on this cross section right here, and then we're just using the gumball to turn it a little bit, so you don't feel like it's like way too much there. Okay, and with this one, if you feel like this is like a too thick, you want to reduce the weight, you can use the 1D scale and make sure that your near point is on, and we want to moving back a little bit, so to reduce the weight there, and also increasing the space for our chin. All right, double make sure if that is what you need, and everything look like that's correct, then you can use the CAD command. With the CAD command, is going to break the history. You're no longer able to change it if that is what you want. So I always wanted to make sure that you're 100% sure, or just making a copy there. All right, once you have done, we wanted to giving a fillet, because on the bottom I wanted to be a little bit rounder there. So let's try if we wanted to using 1 to kind of round the bottom. It doesn't do much, so I'm gonna bump it up to 2. Let's pick up this one and pick up this one and see what happened. All right, so it looked nicer. I also want them to be a little bit nicer all the way, so the render will look nicer. Let me give it a fillet, and a fillet to radius for like a 0.15, something small, and I want to go for everybody. Alright, so now we have this, and the render will look nicer with all the rounded edges there. We are going to do the stone setting. First of all, we need to have the curve right in the middle. You can use the one that you have in project, or we can coming over here and we just extract one. So I'm just coming over here and using the curve from the object. And we are going to extract the iso curve with these faces, and for something similar, like really close to the center right there. All right, so with that curve, I'm just going to mark it green. All right, you can also download the stone in the description below right there. And once you sign up the newsletter, then you can get the free stone. And I'm just going to scale it down to whatever I think is appropriate. Right, so now you can see the stone is not exactly on the surface right there. So I'm going to look at top from side view, and I'm going to adjust it and make sure the stone is sitting into the right place for the first one. All right, and double make sure this is not tilted, or it's tilted into the right angle, and then it's sitting into the right place. So I'm going to tilt it something like this. Right, the first stone, it might take you some time to get it right, but it does help. If you have a right angle for the first one, the rest of them will help a lot. Alright, so once we get the first stone there, we are going to make sure the stone will flow with this curve. Now I don't need to go all the way. I may just want to stop it halfway, so I'm just going to use the split command with the point again. This time we want to split somewhere right there. Depends on how much that you wanted to have it coming down. So the next things that we wanted to array the stone is a little bit tougher in this case because it's gonna be tapered. So we will need to do some manually to moving the stone, and since it's not too many, so it should be fine. So let's go ahead to use an array, and we want along the curve, and we're gonna select the path, so which is this green line, and really quickly you're going to see two of them. Right, we wanted to have the item to be a lot more, so I'm going to type it maybe 6, and that's too much of a gap, so we're gonna do about 10, and we can delete some if we need to. Right, 10 is way too many, so maybe 8 of them. So you want to have a decent gap in between, and in fact we don't need that many down there, so I may just want to have 6 of them. All right, so now we got this one. The second one look all right, it's still fitting in there. The third one, it look okay, but we want to look at the front view and see if that fit. Right, the fourth one, we start need to reducing the number, so this one I may want to just move it a little bit here. This one I want to reduce a little bit, and you can holding the shift and type it here for like 0.9, which is like 90%, and for whatever that stone size is going to be, or you can scale it down to be the exact size. All right, so it's really up to you for what you wanted to do. That one I wanted to scale it down 0.9, which is 90%, which might be still too big, so maybe we're gonna do 0.8 and move it down right here. Alright, so I'm just going to do the sample like this, just moving those down. This one right here, we're gonna look at the all four view. We might still need to have this one going tilted just a little bit right there. Right, so it look like it's something is stocking into the metal. So we're gonna pick up this one and moving around like this. Alright, so now we have all the stone ready. We want to start planing the prong. The prong is quite simple. We're just coming into the top view, and we're gonna draw a really short line there. And with this line, let's go ahead to use the pipe command, and we're gonna do like a 0.35 is fine. It's a little bit strong, but it's better than like weak prong, right? Because you will need to rebuild all of them. I'm going to put this right here and moving in, or make it a little bit shorter there. So that will be my first prong. Right, the second prong I'm going to just moving right here. Since it doesn't have too many prong there, so I'm just going to manually to to use this. And some of you might ask, like, PJ, do you actually arrange the stone one by one every time? No, it's not. I personally use a Rhino Go for some of the stone setting purpose because it does have something, it's going to go faster for the freelance job, but rest of them I pretty much using a Rhino to build everything from scratch. So it's possible to manually to get them done, or if you want to use the program, it's really up to you. But I want to show you how you can manually, do by hand, right? Once it is done, we just need to move it back into the right place because you don't want the prong is like sticking way too much out there. So we just need to go back to the top view and using those. All right, now double make sure, like sometimes you will see this sticky out, and then if it is outside, it can be simply just like really quickly just polish out. But for something, if it is inside, then you may have problem, you will need to moving those back, right? It's harder to polish inside. Okay, so then you want to kind of adjust the prong and make sure they are not sticking out too much. They can be and it's 100% touching, like this one is like floating in there, so those two, they all need to be going in. That's because our surface is turning. If our surface is not turning, it will be much easier in going to this route to arrange all the prong, like make sure those prong is not like flying out, and or it will be break once you cast it. Okay, all right, so now we have something like this. For the top, it's quite simple to making those stop right there. And again, I wanted to draw a line there, and we are going to pipe it. I will suggest piping this one. It's a bit stronger, so 0.45. And I want this one to move it back into the center right here, and moving up to the center right there. All right, so we'll have something over here, and this will be to where have our chains to sit. Now if you wanted to have your chain to sitting more security, you could have another one on the bottom, right? Just need to make sure you tilted the angle so they don't feel like you can see them from other angle, something like this. So then you can have your chain go into in between those two. So I may want to make them a little bit taller, things like that. Oh, look, it's sticking out, so it doesn't look good. I'm going to move it back to hide it. So you don't want to see them in the front view. I hope this video helped you to understand the structure and also the stone setting. There are many different kinds of a stone setting. I would like to show you how to use a Rhino to create it. It's hard to design jewelry without understanding the stone setting. Check out my stone setting course that introduces you many types of a stone setting, including a fancy cut. The links is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next.